other problems came up with the Spitfire. Not the Spitfire's fault, it's the Weber carburetor. I found that the needle and seat were sticking a little bit. They were the metal brass kind, conical brass, and this is the Vitron or whatever you want to call it. So then you run into shaking the plastic float or foam float or whatever it is, and you know, doggone if it didn't make a little rattling noise in there of water. So luckily I had this brass float set, and so the fuel pump was a problem, but I don't know if the problem derived because of the carburetor. I doubt it. But luckily I have all kind of books. Always reminds me of Charles and Dave and so forth up at another place I used to work at. But this book is not completely helpful. It's sort of like not any good. This one's much better. If you have a chance, get this one, and it goes into much more detail about setting the floats on these. That's about as close as it's going to come to the 3236. These are equal. This is synchronized carburetors, not progressive. But see, that's a picture of the black floats there. These are different. They're really, I can't find anybody that really goes into detail about setting the brass floats on these. And one of the fortunes of living like I do is I get to bring carburetor parts into the house. So here we go. It should be 100 and something, 136 closed. But on these, it's hard to tell because see that rounded part here, you don't really know. So there's a ball at the bottom of the new needle and seat that I had in stock. So I'm thinking it's going to come on right here, and then it's supposed to travel 10 millimeters, and I think that's not right. See, that's too far down. This is where you want to be, not here. So if you blow into this end, you could put a low pressure system on that if you want to, and let a little air pressure if you want, but that's not really necessary. You can see the little ball. The ball is inside of this, so that's really off. This is off right here, right when it starts to come on, and we should travel 10 millimeters up, and I would say that's probably what that is. That's like a centimeter. But you're kind of on your own if you got these brass floats. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I think I need to go into there too and see what's in there. There could be some obstruction in there too. But it was a problem. So the float level is so important in carburetors. When you're cornering and when you're taking off and all that other stuff, it means so much to have this correct. And it keeps it from flooding out and everything. But that's the problem of today. Once again, I luck out in having something few other people deal with, and you can type in Weber brass float adjustments, and you're not going to get anything. I mean, there's just nothing there, or I couldn't find it. I use DuckDuckGo, but maybe I need to go over to Google, or I don't use Google. But maybe that's what I need to do. I don't know, but I think I got it pretty good. We'll find out here soon. I'm waiting on some parts to go from 1/4 fuel line to 5/16, and that's more than enough for Lucy's little 1296cc. That's all she needs. You don't need a big old 3/8 fuel line or anything like that. So she always does good, but the biggest damage I do is not drive them enough, and I know that, but it's part of it. It's the way it is. That's why I use electric fuel pumps, and I've had questions about that. Why don't you use a mechanical pump? Well, you sit there and grind your starter to pieces waiting to pump fuel up to it. With electric pump, you just turn it on, and you listen for the tickies-talkies to stop, and you got fuel in there, and you take your time cranking it because you want the oil pressure to come up. So, but I just use electric pumps, just what I do. Bob Schaller taught me that a long time ago. Well,
I hadn't said anything in a while. Yes, it I. Now I'm talking better. Well, I took this off, this right here, and I really didn't know what to expect in there. And there is, I looked it up online too, and it's still there. The nasty filter. I don't imagine that's any good. I think the filter that's on there is good enough. Now you make your own call here, but that just looks like that's trouble you don't know about. Doesn't look like it suffered through the ethanol. I don't think there's any ethanol in it. I don't think it's done well. Actually, I don't think it's doing a doggone thing, but could be. And I believe, because this goes the other way around, and you know, you can check this thing sideways too. That's the way I see a lot of people doing it, your float level. But that's enough of a sediment trap for me to be okay with it. But I don't want anything in there that's gonna oh, here come the crows. Loving the pond. Pond almost filled up the other night with 8 inches of rain, but nevertheless, back to our storyline here. Yeah, you want to make sure. I hadn't seen too many people talk about that. So I imagine if you got an old Weber, you've got the old dual port heads on the old Volkswagen with the Pinto or whatever Weber on it. You might want to check that. Might be causing a little fuel starvation issue. Well, I've got this back together. I'm happy with it. I found this cat, and he said, some people say you check the float level with the gasket on, some with it off. The thing ain't, but you know, that thick. So I don't know. It's the float's got to weigh 16 grams. I carefully carved off a little bit of solder that looked like somebody put on there to weigh it, and I have a lot of faith in my scale, so I did that. Set the float at 40 millimeters with just touching the needle ball, and 50 millimeters with it hanging down. And we're going to see if it goes ticky, ticky, ticky and stops. Everything else, there's so many great videos out there. But remember, you know, it's a good idea to make videos about what you do, so you can just type it on your YouTube channel and you can get the dates and everything, and you can show people you did it. So I got my relay on there, fuel pump on there. I got a circuit breaker kind of fuse right there, because it is a fuel. I put a 10 amp on it. Probably don't pull that, especially since I got a relay on it. So I had to get a 1/4 to 5/16 brass adapter, because the coming out of the, I don't really like that down there. That ain't good, is it? I'm gonna need to do something about that. We'll do that, but we're gonna go get the keys and make it go Ricky Tikki Tavi here in a minute. But let's do something about that, hitting that. That's, you know, this is a crazy car, man. I mean, I've had to do a lot of special modifications on it. And the good thing is, I got some this new kind of fuel hose, not a sponsor, called Evil Energy. And look at that, they gave me a sticker. That's a pretty little sticker too. I'm gonna stick it on here. So anyhow, let's put a piece of rubber down there and get some pull ties and try to gentle that up so we don't get a fuel leak from that rubbing on that suspension arm. What am I gonna do about that? I'll think about it. We'll see what I do in a minute. Let's see if we can do all this in one take. I drained every drop of gas out of every car in the shop, because that's just what I do once every 6 months or a year. And I only use safety cans. I don't like plastic cans anymore. Had enough of them spring leak on me. So this is non-ethanol 90 octane, and we're all set here. Now we should get a little Ricky Tikki Tavi here. I got everything done. I got everything put back together. Chokes put back together. I got all my fancy everything done. So float level, everything's done. Okay. So what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna get the key. I'm gonna get it all tangled up in the And my camera lasso there. Now, I'm not going to turn the battery on. I'm going to turn the battery on here. All right, so we should get a ticky. Hopefully we won't, let me get that thing. It's hurting my eyes. Oh, God. Let's turn that thing down. We'll turn it to that one. Okay, so we're getting ready to power her up. And let's see what happens. I could hear the float bowl or fuel holding area, whatever you want to call it, do fine. So that does it. That is a done deal there. I'm not going to crank it. It's way too cold. But that makes me very, very happy. I'm going to let it sort of stay there for a second and look for leaks. So that finishes this. Just a combination of rebuilding this and some maladjustment up here, the new needle and seat. You better, if you get one of these Webers, you better learn what you're doing. I mean, you just better. They're rather forgiving, but let's turn that off now. Okay, I think that really help. So we got the ignition is off. Everything is off. Let's get the key and put it back in my pocket. There's so many little tricks about these. I'm kind of an SU carburetor guy, but I had to do this. So I'm going to put the air cleaner back on it. I got one more thing. Well, actually, just two more things I want to do, and we'll do those, and then we'll finish up. These little Edelbrock things can be hard. These little foam filters. I had to do a bunch of work to get that to happen on a Weber, but it wasn't too bad. JB Weld, fiberglass, stuff like that. It's pretty strong. So let's. I just had a funny thought because of this. That fuel hose I showed you before. It's called Evil Energy. And, I call this car Lucy, short for Lucifer, because she's so hard to work on. And so let's get the bonnet down. Okay. And then it just pops up right there. Ain't that cool? I wish you'd have thought of that. Okay. I only thought of it because I didn't have a choice. So I got this, and I thought, well, I'm going to put it just right here. And I got to clean it off first, see? That's the perfect place for that. So there's our, I powder coated that, believe it or not. So I ain't worried about the paint because that ain't paint. It's just, it's vinyl wrap. So let's see how this comes off. How's this come off? It's one of my favorite vehicles here. The tractor. Let's see. Oh, it's just, oh boy. Oh, that's going to look cool. See, it's got the white. It's got the white. Okay. I'm loving it. It don't matter if it's on there straight. I'm going to try though. That's a good sticker. That's a good quality sticker. All right. Perfect. Evil Energy. That's funny. I got to tell you, their hose really feels good too. It's good to 300 psi. The stuff I got anyway. It's pretty good stuff. So I'm glad to have a roll of that. Probably a little better than most. Probably not as good as others, but there it is. Okay, so give me a thumbs up and subscribe. And we will clean up, and then we're going to go in because, oh boy, look at that cloud. Yeah, sun just went down. Speaking of kind of devilish looking, look at that. Hawkshaw has been around a lot today. So there that is. Whew, that's pretty cool. Glad I looked out just in time for that. All right, well, only a couple of more days of Christmas decorating. I see Snowman's up there lit up already. I like it for him to come on kind of early because usually I'm sitting at my desk. But, oh, how interesting. Okay, yeah, I gotta undecorate the dogs. All right, we'll talk about something later. I'll find something. Okay, don't break anything while I'm gone.